You've been there. It's Sunday night, you lay out your gym clothes, pre-chop veggies for lunch, and say it out loud. This is the week. Future you is going to be a machine. Up early, focused, disciplined. And then Monday happens. The alarm groans, present you taps snooze. 10 minutes later, it's 20. At work, a donut materializes in the break room like it teleported in, and present you mumbles, "It'd be rude not to." By Friday, the plan you made for future you is Swiss cheese, holes everywhere. It feels like a tug of war with a version of you who has butter on their hands. Here's the twist. This isn't about you being lazy or weak. It's about how your brain is wired for time. And there's a science-backed way to rig that wiring so your future self doesn't keep getting steamrolled. Today on Brainful Bites, why your brain hates your long-term goals, and the shocking trick to force your future self to win. We're going to expose present bias and build commitment devices that do the follow-through for you. Let's demystify the problem with one uncomfortable truth. Your brain treats future you like a stranger. If I offered your brain a candy bar now versus a pot of gold next year, it would at least hesitate. But candy now versus pot of gold in 5 minutes, suddenly it gets interesting. When rewards are far away, your brain discounts them so hard they barely register. When they're close, they balloon in importance. That's present bias. More formally, it's hyperbolic discounting. The value of future outcomes drops off a cliff early, then flattens over longer horizons. On Sunday night, the reward of being fit, wealthy, or well-rested feels huge. Monday morning, the small, immediate reward of a warm bed or sugary breakfast hijacks the system. Your preference flips. Scientists call this time inconsistency. The classic insight goes back to George Ainsley in the mid-70s. Our preferences reverse as outcomes move into the present. Later, economist David Leibson formalized a simple way to think about it: the beta-delta model. Delta captures ordinary patients, how you trade off next month versus the month after. Beta is the now penalty. Everything not today gets an automatic markdown just for being later. That one little beta is the troublemaker that keeps future you losing negotiations. Add another layer, the hot-cold empathy gap. In a cold state, calm, full, rested, you make noble plans. In a hot state, stressed, hungry, tempted, you discount the future even harder and mispredict how strong the pull will feel. That's why "I'll just check Instagram for a sec" turns into 30 minutes, and why grocery shopping hungry is a terrible idea. If you're thinking, okay, but is this just theory? The evidence is everywhere. Regarding gym memberships, Della Vigna and Malmendi are found people overpay for monthly plans compared to per visit, basically taxing themselves for optimism. They expected future them to go often. Present them did not cooperate. When it comes to deadlines, Dan Ariely and Klaus Wertenbrock ran a study where students could set their own penalties for late papers. Students voluntarily restricted themselves. It helped performance, though not as much as evenly spaced, externally enforced deadlines. Translation: we know we procrastinate and we'll trade some freedom now to protect our outcomes later. And for work output, in field experiments, workers even demanded commitments with penalties to stop themselves from quitting early and to increase output. In effort tasks, people mispredicted future work and sought commitment to fix it. So your experience of "why am I like this" is not a personal flaw. It is a predictable byproduct of how our decision machinery discounts time. Think of two systems negotiating every choice. There's planner you, patient, values goals, can see next month, and doer you, fast, reward-seeking, cares about right now. Planner you writes the plan. Doer you holds the credit card. Guess who usually wins when the donut is in arm's reach? Which brings us to the good news. You can change the game without waiting for motivation to magically be there at 6 a.m. The tool is a commitment device, a choice made now that shapes or limits your future options so that doer you can't casually betray planner you. The idea is simple and powerful. Alter incentives and environments in advance so that the immediate path lines up with long-term goals. You don't have to out-willpower your impulses. You pre-build rails that your day will run on. One of the best real-world examples is Save More Tomorrow, created by Richard Thaler and Shlomo Benartzi. People want to save for retirement, but hate smaller paychecks right now. The program lets you commit today to increasing your 401k contribution automatically with your next raise. The increase happens later, paired with good news, more pay, so it doesn't sting. Companies using it saw big, sustained jumps in savings because the decision was made in a cold moment, but executed in a way that never gave present you a lever to pull. Another elegant case, a commitment account in the Philippines, studied by Ashraf, Carlin, and Yin, where people voluntarily restricted withdrawals until they hit a goal or date. Those who opted in saved more. They literally asked a bank to protect their money from their future impulses. Even fun can be engineered. Catherine Milkman and colleagues tested temptation bundling. You pair a want, audiobook you love, with a should, the gym. You only get the want while doing the should. Exercise one up. Why? You attach an immediate reward to a long-term behavior, making it appealing in the moment. So if the enemy is present bias, commitment devices are the shield, the guardrails, and sometimes the bouncer at the door. But the key is design. Too weak and doer you walks around it. Too rigid and the first life hiccup breaks it. Let's build your toolkit. 4 strategies you can set up this week with steps, examples, and escape valves that keep the system resilient. Strategy 1 is to automate future good behavior so the right thing happens by default. Here's what to do. First, pay future you first. Set automatic transfers from checking to savings or investment accounts the day after payday. Use an account that's a little inconvenient to access, like at a separate bank with no debit card. Second, schedule automatic increases. If your employer offers it, enroll in a Save More Tomorrow style escalation for retirement. If not, put a calendar automation to bump contributions every quarter. Third, default your bills. Auto-pay essentials like rent, utilities, and minimum debt payments so present you never gets the extra money to misallocate. For example, you could funnel $100 to a buffer high-yield savings the day after payday, then move it to a 90-day notice account so withdrawal requires planning, not impulse. Or set your note-taking app to open your priority project doc at 9 a.m. daily and auto-block your calendar with a focus appointment. This works because it removes the moment of choice where present you usually wins. No decision, no discounting. For an escape valve, keep a small, clearly labeled emergency brake glass account so genuine surprises don't wreck your system. The valve is there, but a bit inconvenient to turn. Strategy 2 is to pre-commit to deadlines with stakes, so procrastination is immediately costly. Here's what to do. First, break big goals into evenly spaced milestones. Externalize them on your calendar with reminders. Second, add stakes. Use tools like BeamMinder or StickK to put money on the line, or pledge to donate to a cause you dislike if you miss. If you're not ready for cash stakes, make it social. Text a friend who will check. Third, set verification rules now. What counts as done, who confirms, and when. For example, a draft section is due each Friday at 5 p.m. If you miss, you pay $25 to your accountability partner or post your missed deadline publicly. Or you could commit to 3 workouts per week with a streak tracker and a $10 per miss consequence to a charity that annoys you. This works because it moves some cost of failing into the present, neutralizing the discounting advantage of procrastination. For an escape valve, build in a skip tokens. For example, 2 tokens per month you can spend for legitimate disruptions like illness or a family emergency. Unused tokens expire. This keeps the system humane without making every excuse free. Strategy 3 is to design friction for temptations and flow for goals, so the path of least resistance is your plan. Here's what to do. First, put distance between you and temptations. Delete apps from your home screen, use website blockers that require a reboot to bypass, and move junk food out of the house or to an inconvenient shelf. Second, make the first step of the goal easy and visible. Lay out gym clothes next to your keys. Pre-open the dock you need, or put your guitar on a stand in the room you walk through. Third, use time and place cues. Schedule Do Not Disturb during focus blocks, set your phone to grayscale after 9 p.m., or pre-order healthy lunches for the week. For example, you could install a blocker like Freedom or Cold Turkey with locked mode for social media from 9 to 12 a.m. and have those focus windows repeat daily. Or keep a fruit bowl center stage and snacks in opaque bins on a high shelf. The friction change is enough to nudge choices. This works because Doer You follows the least effort path. If the easy option is aligned with your plan, you'll take it. For an escape valve, maintain a distraction slot. Promise yourself 10 minutes at the end of a focus block to check messages. Knowing it's coming reduces the urge to defect mid-block.
Strategy 4 is temptation bundling, so the moment feels rewarding. Here's what to do. First, pick a treat you reliably crave: a podcast, a show, a fancy latte, a specific playlist. Second, bind it to the should. You only get the treat during or immediately after the target behavior. Third, make access conditional. Move the podcast into a playlist you'll only play at the gym. Keep your espresso pods next to your study desk, not the couch. For example, only listen to your favorite thriller audiobook on the treadmill. Only watch your guilty pleasure show while on the stationary bike or folding laundry. Only get the premium coffee when you start your weekly planning review. This works because it builds an immediate payoff into the behavior, satisfying present you and future you simultaneously. For an escape valve, rotate treats periodically so novelty doesn't fade. If it does, the bundle loses power. Before you sprint off to overhaul everything, a few design principles to prevent backfire. Calibrate stakes. Too low and you shrug. Too high and you panic, then avoid the whole setup. Start with mild to moderate stakes and adjust. Make it easy to start, harder to quit. Joining should be frictionless. Escaping should require a deliberate step, like calling a friend who holds the blocker password. Plan for variability. Energy, stress, caregiving, illness, life happens. Build flexible floors, the minimum you'll do on a bad day, and aggressive ceilings, what great days look like. And keep commitments transparent and self-endorsed. You are choosing these supports. If a tool feels like it's working against your values, redesign it. The point is autonomy, not coercion. Let's stitch this all together with a 1-week mini playbook to make your future self win without heroic mornings. Day 0, which is today, and will take about 20 minutes. Pick one domain: money, health, learning, or deep work. One only. Define a 4-week mini goal that passes the snapshot test, meaning you can point to a specific outcome or countable actions. Examples are 12 workouts in 4 weeks, finish 2 chapters and a practice quiz, or $400 moved to savings. Then decide your floor and ceiling. Floor is the minimum you'll do on bad days, like a 10-minute walk. The ceiling is ambitious but doable, like a 45-minute workout. On day 1, automate one action. Set an auto transfer or a recurring calendar block with Do Not Disturb. Pre-open the file you need tomorrow morning and pin it. On day 2, build stakes. Create a Stick K or Beamminder commitment, or text a friend with, "I'm sending you $25 every Friday I miss my milestone. Hold me to it." Put it in writing. On day 3, design your environment. Lay out clothes, prep the workspace, remove apps, set up blockers. Move temptations farther away physically and digitally. On day 4, add a temptation bundle. Pair the behavior with a treat and enforce the rule. On day 5, run a test day. Do the plan with everything in place. Notice friction and fix one thing. Maybe the blocker window needs to start earlier. Maybe your gym bag lives by the door, not the closet. On day 6, install escape valves. Add 2 skip tokens for the next 2 weeks. Decide the conditions that qualify. Write them where you'll see them. On day 7, publicly declare the plan. Comment here or message a friend. Future Me plan, 3 morning focus blocks this week, $10 per miss to a charity I dislike, audiobook only at the gym. Starts Monday. You've now reduced the intention-action gap before the week even begins. A quick word on nuance. Not everyone discounts the future equally. It varies by person, domain, mood, and situation. Lab tasks that measure discounting don't always map perfectly to your real life.
and commitments can backfire if they're so rigid they ignore real constraints. This isn't about punishing yourself into performance. It's about designing context where your best intentions actually have a chance. It also helps to zoom out on identity. If your brain treats future you like a stranger, a one hack is to make future you feel more like you. A few ideas that research suggests can help. First, visual connection. Briefly imagine or even view an aged photo of yourself while making saving or health decisions. That sense of continuity can nudge choices. Second, narrative linkage. Write a 3-sentence future postcard describing a day you want 6 months from now, morning, midday, evening, and read it before you set commitments. It primes planner use voice. Let's ground this in 2 quick mini stories. Story 1. Maya, a project manager, kept slipping on certification study. Her plan, a Tuesday-Thursday 90-minute block. Reality, Slack pings wrecked her. She stacked 3 commitments. 1, a calendar block with auto do not disturb. 2, a sticky $20 penalty to a hated cause per missed block.
And 3, a temptation bundle, her favorite matcha latte only during study. In 3 weeks, she logged all sessions, used 1 skip token during a family emergency, and passed the practice exam. Not because she became disciplined overnight, but because she built rails that carried her through noisy mornings. Story 2. Evan wanted to save $2,000 in 3 months. Automations moved $150 the day after payday into a separate bank with a 48-hour withdrawal delay. He gave the online banking password to his partner, who agreed to veto non-emergencies for those funds. The friction made impulsive purchases annoying. He hit $2,100 and, crucially, didn't feel tortured. The design did the heavy lifting. Now, a few quick pitfalls and fixes. A pitfall is overcommitting across 5 goals at once. The fix is to pick 1 domain for 4 weeks. Momentum first, then expand. Another pitfall is binary pass-fail goals. The fix is to count behaviors you control, like sessions, reps, or dollars moved, not just outcomes like weight lost or grades. A pitfall is vague rules. The fix is to predefine done, timing, and verification. For example, write for 25 minutes at 7 a.m., no phone, doc open, timer on. A final pitfall is easy escape hatches. The fix is to put the exit on a time delay, like a 24-hour wait or behind another person's confirmation. If you're a data nerd, there's more under the hood. Hyperbolic versus exponential discounting explains why later versus later choices are more patient than now versus later. Today versus tomorrow feels like a bigger gap than day 30 versus day 31. The beta-delta framing puts math to the mess. Beta being less than 1 shrinks everything not now. Delta captures ordinary discounting. Commitment devices effectively increase the immediate weight of long-term wins or raise the immediate cost of short-term temptations. Golden eggs assets like illiquid accounts are attractive to present-biased humans because they protect us from us. We've covered a lot, so let's land this plane. That tension you feel between what you want now and what you want most isn't a moral failing. It's a feature of your brain's operating system. But features can be leveraged. Present bias makes the immediate feel bigger. Your move is to make your goals immediate in the ways that matter, by defaulting good actions, attaching near-term stakes, engineering your environment, and injecting instant joy into long-term behaviors. Don't wait for Monday motivation. Architect Monday reality. Now it's your turn. What's one goal present you keeps sabotaging? Which commitment device will you install this week to flip the script? Drop your plan in the comments. Name the domain, the first commitment you'll put in place, and your stake or bundle. That public commitment is step 1. If there's another cognitive bias ruining your best laid plans, tell us. We'll dissect it and give you the tools to win. And if this episode helped, share it with a friend who keeps saying, "This is the week," and let's make it true. Until next time, keep your brain hungry and your commitments strong.